Hey guys, it's the Crypto Jarhead again. I do not have a whole lot to go over today. Got distracted by family stuff and the Super Bowl. It was actually a pretty good Super Bowl game, which I didn't have a dog in the race. This might cost me a couple of fans, but I'm a Lions fan. Okay, I was born and raised just south of Detroit. I will always support the Lions. And clearly, it's going to be a while before we see them in the Super Bowl. But it was a pretty good game. It was entertaining. I'm glad it wasn't a blowout like a lot of Super Bowls tend to be. But this channel is not about the Super Bowl. I know a lot of my friends and family were boycotting the Super Bowl as some kind of protest. Frankly, I think if you're an American and you want to protest something, there are far more important things to protest than a game. But hey, that's just me. I'm a big fan of the sport. I love it. But again, this channel is not about football. It's not about protests. It's about crypto. Don't really have a whole lot to update because, as I said, I was busy. But tomorrow, Thorn Coin is opening. They're lending at $8. So if you're in Thorn, go ahead and do your lending then. If you want to lend then, they are supposed to increase the price to $15 on the 15th, and then anywhere from a week to 10 days after that, they are supposed to increase the price between 30 and 50, depending on the volume of traffic they get on their site after the internal exchange opens on the 15th. So take that information as you will. Obviously, there's nothing guaranteed in crypto. I'm just going off the word of James Thorne on that. So could be a whole wall of smoke. Maybe you want to lend it $8 because you got in for 50 cents, and that's still a pretty good profit. Maybe you want to wait for 15. Maybe you want to wait for 60. I don't know. Whatever your plan is. The lending is starting tomorrow, so you can begin to implement some of your plans. So keep an eye on that. If you're not planning on lending, I strongly suggest you stake, which I did a quick video on how to do that. It's a really simple process, guys. You don't have to download any crazy wallets and have it running on your computer. With them, it's just another option. It's instead of lend, you hit the stake tab, and boom, done. So let's see, Cresos. What's going on with Cresos? Not a whole lot going on with Cresos. I'm one of those guys, when I started my loan with Cresos, they went ahead and fronted me a false commission payment. So I'm still not getting interest because I'm negative. I think $94 was the last time I checked it. But the balance is going down, and so they're just, they weren't supposed to give that money in the first place. So the interest is going towards that. I did open up a support ticket, just to let them know I'm one of those accounts. I don't know what they're planning on doing with that account yet. What their plan to fix it is. I would assume they're just going to take your daily interest and put it towards that balance, but that's just an assumption made by me, and everyone knows that when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and me. Let's see, LoopX. Gotta say, I haven't heard anything new on LoopX either. Their lending is live, so go ahead and check that. I don't know what the current price is. I think it was $12. They went up to $12, but that could have changed in the past 24 hours. If you are getting into LoopX now, which it's still very early in the life of the platform, if you want to do just pure lending, there is a lot of profit in that. If you want to risk your own money, which I don't do, but maybe your strategy is a little different. And if you do lend your own money, you always want to get in early in the life of the platform, and LoopX is early in the life of that platform. So if that's part of your goal, the cost or the price of each LoopX doesn't really matter, because $1,000 is going to get you $1,000 worth of LoopX, whether that's 1,000 LoopX or 100 LoopX. it doesn't matter if you're doing a pure lending strategy. EPOS. EPOS was another one. EPOS. I don't know really how you pronounce that. That's one I'm looking into. Just kind of speculating on that one. I have not heard of any new ICO from the Oracle, and I'm kind of waiting to see what he brings to us next, because everything he has brought to the Wolfpack since I started watching him have been great projects, with the one exception of Ribbon Coin, which looked good, that he endorsed for a day or two and then told everyone, hey, don't throw any money into it because something doesn't quite feel right. And then a few days after that, he just announced that he was done with Ribbon Coin. So, but besides from that small fiasco, which, I don't throw money into an ICO 2 weeks before they open up anyway. I would suggest what I did with Thorn and with Chrysos is I put my money into Thorn 2 days before the ICO. Just to give it. Bitcoin can take a day to do transactions sometimes. In my experience, sometimes transactions can take 24 hours to process. It's just the blockchain. It is what it is. Although that was a long time to wait for that Bitcoin transaction. But I have done one where it took a little over a day for it to hit. So that gives it a day to get onto the platform, and then a day for it to just be on the platform. You can work out any kinks that might possibly arise on that. But that's me. Some people like to live dangerously and try and throw Bitcoin at it, 2 hours before the ICO opens. If that's your thing, then honestly, good luck. I don't know. It might work. I prefer to have my money in there a couple days beforehand, but it's your choice, your deal. So let's see. EPOS does not open. The ICO opens up on the 16th, so there's still plenty of time to really look into that. Still plenty of time. There's a lot of ICOs coming out this month, guys. I've seen I've personally looked at the white papers for 5 or 6 coins that are launching in February. The only one of those that I have liked that I've seen is EPOS, but I didn't really have time to really dig into it. Just a quick glance, checking the quick things that I look for. For instance, how centralized is the coin going to be? I believe in a decentralized coin. I like decentralized coins. How much money are they looking to raise in the ICO? If it's, between 5 and 10 million, I'm kind of comfortable with that. But if I see someone trying to raise $100 million or more in an ICO, I don't, that's exit money. 5 to 10 million for a startup company is not really enough to justify an exit unless it's one guy behind it, which I doubt that's going to happen. It takes a lot more work than one guy can do, unless he's some kind of super programmer from the future. So if it's a team, I don't really think that 5 to 10 million screams exit money. Now, of course, it's crypto. Anything can happen. I'm not your financial advisor. If you're looking for financial advice from YouTube, you might want to rethink that strategy. Go talk to an actual financial advisor. This is the kind of stuff that you do with your extra play money that you have, that you don't mind losing. With that being said, I don't like to lose. And if I don't feel right about a project, I don't go into one. So there have been a couple of things. I got a couple of friends that have done Finecoin, and that looks to be working out pretty well. What was the... There was another one that launched that I chose not to go into that is working pretty well for them. But it's just, bottom line is, if I feel hinky about a project, I'm not going to go into it. And I would strongly advise that if you don't feel right about a particular project, then just don't go into it. Because if you go into something and you don't feel right about it and you hear some FUD, you just psychologically, it's all a psychological game, So if you already have doubts going in and you hear some FUD that's not even true, you're going to give it a little bit more value than it's worth. You know, you might take that FUD at face value instead of looking into it, you know. So that's only going to hurt your own investment if you buy into that kind of crap, you know. Whereas if you solidly believe in a project, you know, and commit your money to it and you absolutely believe in them, is there a chance that they can exit? Yes. Yes, there is. Anything can exit at any time. You know, but if you truly believe in a program and then you hear some crazy off the wall shit, you're probably going to dismiss it. You know, you're not going to really pay it any attention. And if you do pay it any attention, you're going to see inconsistencies with what they're saying. You know, so I'm kind of rambling for a little bit because don't really have a game plan for this video. But I do want to bring a video at least once a day, even if my video is, hey, I don't really have anything to really bring to your attention right now. The only real action item is Thorn opening up their lending tomorrow. So if you want to lend at $8, go ahead and hop on that when it opens. I'm not sure exactly what time the lending is supposed to launch. Well, let's hang on. Okay, guys, I'm back on the Thorn website. Let me see. Okay. I'm looking for a countdown right now, guys. Okay, I do not see a countdown. But hey, if you're interested in external exchanges, Thorn is going to open on coinexchange.io on March 3rd. Cryptopia on April 3rd, and Livecoin on May 3rd. So, and then you can see their expected price off to the right of that table there. Now, keep in mind, those expected price numbers were written a couple months ago, so it does not look like they have updated that. Or maybe they have, you know, but keep in mind, once it hits the external exchange, it is completely out of Thorn's hand. It is, you know, pure capitalism at that point, whatever people are willing to pay for it. So, you know, it could be anything. The expected price doesn't really mean anything once you hit the external exchange. Now, you know, there's smart people, really smart people that analyze graphs and do all this, that, and the other that are fairly good at predicting prices, but no one's infallible, guys. So always take any expected price for any project with a grain of salt there. So I'm not seeing a countdown for when lending will be launched. It's still just saying February 15th or February 5th. So, and real quick, let's go take a look at my staking here. Boom! I've got almost 7 Thorn earned from my staking already, so that's pretty cool. I like to check that every day to make sure it's going up. You know, so that way if there's a day where it doesn't accumulate, you know, I can open up a little sport ticket, find out what's going on. But keep in mind, when you make a loan or when you start a stake, it is usually down to the second, you know, so 6 months to the day to the second will be your capital release, right? And, you know, typically if you started a loan at noon, exactly on the dot, you can expect to see that interest hit at noon the following day. At least that's my experience. And same thing with staking. So, you know, if you normally log on at noon to check your interest or your staking or whatever, and you log on at 8 o'clock in the morning and don't see a change, don't panic. You know, it might not have hit yet. So, yeah, not sure exactly what time of day lending will start tomorrow, but it will start tomorrow at $8. So, if that's your Thorn plan, look for that tomorrow and go ahead and start your loans. Now, the internal exchange is not open. So if your plan is to pull out some of your cash initially and lend the rest at $8, go ahead and pre-calculate how much you want to pull out and how much you want to lend in Thorn. Not in dollar amounts, in Thorn at $8. and lend the amount in Thorn that you want to lend and keep the other amount in Thorn that you're looking to sell once the internal exchange opens. So, but if you just want to start lending, you can start that tomorrow. That's all I got for tonight. It's been a long, crazy day. So yeah, happy hunting. Good night, wolves.